This is the METS POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Mets got the help they needed from Milwaukee as the Reds lost, but an offense that sputtered, completing one of the longest drawn-out collapses you will see a baseball team go through as the New York Mets season came to an end. Welcome into the Mets Postcast here, live on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel, the Locked On Mets podcast feed. Your postcast host, your therapy host here today, Chris Schubert, as the Mets fall 4-0, and their season is done. It is over, and of course, that is where we start today's postcast.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The offense, the story of the day today. The Mets could not do anything offensively. We'll try to get the final numbers here for you, but it was, I believe, 10 men left on base, 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. You needed to be better today. And it's not even what happened in Milwaukee, although that makes the pain sting even more, that you got the result that you needed in Cincinnati. They took an early lead in that game. Milwaukee battled back and they won it. And so all you had to do was to just win the baseball game, and you got nothing. And we'll get into the pitching a little bit later on here in the show. But man, the offense just didn't show up. Two big opportunities in this game. The fifth inning, right after allowing the 4 spot in the fourth, with the Marlins taking the lead, the Mets had it. The Mets had a chance to respond almost immediately and keep themselves in the game. That's really one of the major underlying themes here is if the Mets would have scored a little bit earlier on in this contest, not only do you maybe knock Miami out of the game, but after that 4-run inning, you're looking for any little bit of momentum. And instead, it was anything but for the Mets, because in that fifth, Mauricio walked, Lindor walked, Soto walked, setting everything up for Pete. It's one of the hardest hit outs you're going to see all season long, 116 miles an hour off the bat. And that felt like the moment. That felt like the turning point where things just deflated. That ball doesn't find the gap. That ball doesn't get down, doesn't allow the Mets to draw back into it. And you've got a bunch of guys in that dugout that are looking around at one another, wondering, this is it. If that's not going to go down, we're not going to have a chance in this game. But they did have another chance in this one, because in the 8th inning, they had another moment to try to at least draw a little bit back into the game. Alonso leads off with a single. Vientos walks, so you're at first and second with just 1 out, and it's a pair of strikeouts, McNeil and Alvarez, both going down swinging on balls out of the zone. You just need to be better. You are not going to make the postseason on a day where you needed a win and help if you score no runs. You are not going to make the postseason. You are not going to be able to win game 162 if you don't have more than 1 extra base hit. And the 1 extra base hit that's listed here in the box score is that Lindor double that's basically just an E6 or an E4. That is the 1 extra base hit the Mets had in this game today, was one that was clearly an error, that the scorekeeper there in Miami ruled a double for Lindor. The ball that hit the infield rolled underneath the glove, and he moved to second base. That's it. That's the only extra base hit the Mets got in this game today. It's just not good enough. It wasn't good enough, and this game, symbolic of what has been just a long, slow trot to this moment for the New York Mets. The offense consistently all over the place, consistently inconsistent, a pitching staff that did so much early, faltered late. I mean, isn't this game a microcosm of this season when you can only get 5 outs from Manaea? Sure. If this was a game in June, he probably gets pushed a little bit more. Some aggressive managing from Carlos Mendoza because he needed to get this game, had to have this one. So you are going to manage aggressively. You are going to take Manaea out, but a couple of walks there in the second put him in a position to be taken out of the game. Clay Holmes certainly didn't do that the day prior. Clay Holmes didn't put the Mets in a position where they had to get the bullpen up and going in a hurry. The Mets just could not do the little things right all season long. They couldn't do the little things right today. And that's it. You're not going to win baseball games when you don't have any extra base hits. You're not going to win baseball games when you have, 5 hits in total, no runs. You leave 10 men on base. You go 0 for 8. You're not going to win baseball games. You're not going to win game 162 when you have to turn to your bullpen, a bullpen that has just been so overused this season. Since June 13th, it's been the second most utilized bullpen in the sport. I just don't know what you expected at this point. The Mets need to look themselves in the mirror because this was on them today. They got the result that they needed in Milwaukee from the Brewers against the Reds. They couldn't do anything. Couldn't even scratch a run across here in this one. So that's what happened here in this game. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, a recap of the season in general. A thank you to all of you that have been hanging out with us. And of course, your thoughts. This is the last postcast of the season, unfortunately. So anything that you want to get off your chest here as we close up the book on the 2025 season for the New York Mets, we will get to all of it here on the other side. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. This episode brought to you by Zippix Toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For those nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors, 2 milligram, 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com. Use the code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That is zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks. You've probably seen a million ads for those hair growth products and thought to yourself, sure, like that actually works. So many products out there, hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That's why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And now Nutrafol is the official hair growth partner of Major League Baseball. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements, backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Find out why Nutrafol, the best-selling hair growth supplement brand, at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, let's reset here on the Mets postcast, recapping the Mets finishing their season with a loss down in Miami, losing 2 of 3 in this series, missing the postseason with 83 wins. And you know the drill by now. You know the stat by now. But a team that started 45-24 to out of the postseason. One of the best teams in baseball through the first 69 games to, outside of what Detroit did, one of the larger lapses we have seen in recent memory. And look, it's interesting because I'm not surprised by what happened. We've been slowly moving towards this date in time for a while now. This team has not looked like a playoff-worthy team for the 3.5 months that they have slowly been going through this collapse. But you still believe, not in the, the you gotta believe mantra, but you believe because you're a fan. You're watching this team. You know it's still mathematically possible. You've seen how good this team can look when everything is clicking. So you're going to watch this through to game 162. And I woke up this morning, talked to my family and said, listen, this is an uphill battle today, but I'm going to be sitting there on that couch. I'm going to have both screens on. I'm going to be keeping an eye on what's going on in Milwaukee. And I'm going to be watching the Mets game, rooting on, because you just never know. And unfortunately, you'd feel a lot better if the Mets would have won today and Milwaukee would have just lost, and the Reds went out there and took it. They won the baseball game. They did what they needed to do. The Mets put as much pressure as they could. Didn't work out. This is the one that hurts the most. This is the outcome that stings, because you lost the game on Friday. If you win that game or if you win today, you are putting yourself into the postseason. You're putting yourself into the dance. And as we saw last year, that's a lottery ticket. It's a lottery ticket. You never know how it's going to work out. The Mets rode that all the way to the NLCS. Mets couldn't get it done here today, couldn't get it done all season. And it was a overworked bullpen. It was a rotation that couldn't get it done. They had to turn to three kids in Nolan McLean, Brendan Sproat, and Jonah Tong, three guys that one of them seemed totally ready for the moment in McLean. Sproat looked okay. Tong looked like he was in above his skis a little bit, and that's okay. Future's still bright for all three of those kids, but that's what you had to turn to. I mean, think about today, right? The Mets had to go to Jared Young, although I'd argue maybe we shouldn't have done that. They had to go to Jared Young as a pinch hitter in this game. That was their bench option here, lefty off the bench in this game. Brett Beatty got hurt. They didn't have him today. They had to start Ryne Mauricio the last 2 games of the season after not starting for 5 weeks. I mean, just everything that could go wrong did go wrong here for the New York Mets. And so now they get to sit at home. They get to reflect, and it's going to be a long offseason. Pete Alonso's probably going to opt out of his contract. With the season that he had, would not be surprised to see Edwin Diaz opt out of his deal as well. So some major decisions need to be made there. The Mets will have to make decisions across the rest of this roster, figuring out what the rotation is going to look like next season, reworking this bullpen. And let's face it, none of the trade deadline acquisitions for the New York Mets panned out this year. Ryan Helsley had the tipping issue. Tyler Rogers down the stretch started to falter. Gregory Soto was great when he first got here. Then he had that bad outing out in Atlanta. It was all downhill from there. Cedric Mullins was their big at bat that they added at the deadline. He didn't provide anything of value. So it needs to be a complete sort of hindsight, look back, 30,000 foot view. What led us to these decisions? Was our process good here? Because none of those moves panned out for the New York Mets. And so that's it. It's done. It's over for the New York Mets. And you know, I'm not as upset as I used to be when it comes to the Mets missing the postseason. And I think that's in large part because this was an outcome I think we all kind of slowly saw coming. We've been dealing with it for 3.5 months here on the postcast, breaking down this team, struggling, not winning games that they should win, not beating teams that they are, and I guess you really can't say it, but that they should beat, that they're way more talented than. In Washington and Miami, the last 2 series against teams that are not in the postseason, look what happened. Couldn't beat those teams. That is just one example of what has kept them out of the postseason. But the way they started in the second half, that entire month of July, that just felt like it was loss after loss after loss. I mean, 3 separate times this season with a 7-game losing streak. I mean, just a team that, let's face it, did not deserve to be in the postseason. They had a chance here today to still create their own luck after what happened in Milwaukee. They couldn't do it. And so now they need to completely hit the reset button, and they're going to need to figure out a brand new roster for 2026. You cannot run this team back. That's just my thought. You can't run this team back after they only won 83 games. And since June 13th, the SNY, shout out to the SNY broadcast for putting this up there, 38-55 since June 13th. I mean, that's the baseball team that we finished with. You cannot run this team back altogether because that's the type of product you're putting out on the field. So it is going to be a very long offseason, lots of rumors, lots of news. This team's going to make a lot of different changes to their group, and we'll see. We'll be right back here at the start of the 2026 season here on the Mets Postcast. And I do want to carve out a little bit of time here before we get done. I know it's a very negative day today because the Mets are done. The postseason will start here on Tuesday, and the Mets will not be participating. But a thank you from me to all of you who welcomed me in here to the Locked On Mets YouTube channel. Last year, we did these off of this channel, made the change this year to put it on the team feed. So a thank you to Ryan for graciously allowing me some time here on the YouTube channel and in the podcast feed to hang out and talk Mets baseball with you all. But a thank you to all of you for welcoming me in. I know Ryan's your guy. I love Ryan as well. And so for you to allow me to share this platform with him and talk Mets baseball, a thank you for all of you that joined us, whether it was for 1, 2, all of the post games. I think the final number when it's all said and done was like 119, 120 times we did this, 121 games. We got 1 doubleheader in there as well that we recapped. And so a thank you to all of you who hung out with us here, whether, again, like I said, for 1, 10, 15, or all of the games. A thank you, and appreciate you hanging out with us here. And I wish it was under better circumstances. I wish we were getting ready for a Tuesday postcast, at least 2 more postcasts. I wish that was the case, but unfortunately, I think we all saw this day coming with the way that this team had played. That's it for me. That's it for me here in 2025. If you are also a Jets fan, you can hang out with me over on the Locked On Jets YouTube channel for Jets postcasts the rest of the NFL season. And then we're back here 2026. Don't worry. Game 1 of 162 next year. We'll be right here doing the Mets postcast with you. So again, thank you. I wish we were closing this out on different circumstances. I wish it was not ending here and the run was continuing into the playoffs. But unfortunately, that was not in the cards for the New York Mets, who fall today 4-0 to the Miami Marlins. They finished their season 83-79, and there are no postseason. After starting 45-24, the Mets 38-55 since June 13th. And that's all she wrote. The Mets are done. They will not be participating in the postseason. Until 2026, have a good one, Mets fans.